fat when a man can't love a woman more than that.
Well, Tony, as you said at WrestleCon to someone, it's not about the sale ratio. It's all about the art of fellatio. Is that the way it goes?
My brother.
All right, there you go,
That's
Tony.
right.
All right, we heard from a good friend of ours in the land down under New Zealand, Chase Fenner. He wanted to know, Tony, what you thought about one of our fallen friends from not too long ago, the legendary King Kong Bundy we lost.
That breaks my heart. I mean, I'm so heartbroken over the loss of Bundy. You know, I remember him when he first started. He wrestled on his real name.
Chris Canyon at
Right,
first.
had long hair. Well, a lot of people don't know he had a beautiful head of hair. He was not bald naturally. He shaved his head.
Yeah.
But he had hair, and believe it or not, when he wrestled me, I press slammed him. And they said, Tony, how did you get Bundy up there? And I said, he jumped. They said, you kidding me? I said, no. I said, this guy, you know, guys like him, there were very few guys. There was Crusher Blackwell, King Kong Bundy, Bam Bam Bigelow. These are guys that was nearly 400 pounds that could move like a person a third of their weight. Bundy always had been very agile, and when you wrestle with him, he goes up and down. I mean, I gave him hip tosses. I wrestled him many times, hip tosses. Wrestling Bundy was easier than wrestling Johnny Ross, you know. And Bundy was just meant to be, and you couldn't find a nicer person.
Well, I tell you, Tony, I was disappointed. I don't even know if I mentioned this to you, but I had reached out to Bundy about joining us at WrestleCon this year, which would have been even more sad if we were expecting him to join us, you know, at the booth all weekend in New York City. But he was a guy I got to know a little bit thanks to Boston bad boy Tony Rumble's Century Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah.
He competed for Tony on a number of occasions, and I would have loved, I tell you, to have had him more than anything in this very studio.
Yes, and some of the stories Bundy could tell you about how he started off in pro wrestling. Like I say, he came along much later than I did. He came along in the early 80s because I wrestled him, I think it was in 1980 in Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's where Vince used to do his all of his TV taping in Allentown and Hamburg, Pennsylvania, once every 3 weeks. And then I didn't see Bundy no more after the TV taping until they brought him back as King Kong Bundy. And then we always been the best of friends. He even had worked for me at the time. When I had Atlas Championship wrestling up in Maine back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Bundy was one of my main attractions. I used to fly Bundy in. It was always pleasant to do business with. Always smiling, always laughing, always joking. And he goes in the ring and he always gave his best. And the last time I saw him was in Philly, the icon of wrestling. And it was a buddy of mine that called him Big Ray. So I said, Bundy, this is a friend of mine, Big Ray. He said, any friend of Tony Atlas is a friend of mine. He pulled out one of his action figures. He signed it and gave it to Big Ray.
Oh, wow, isn't that nice?
Yeah, he gave it to Big Ray, right? Just like that. I told Ray, I talked to him on the phone not too long ago, and I said, Ray, don't get rid of that. I said, because that's going to be the last autograph you get from Bundy. He said, why is that? I said, Bundy's gone. He said, you kidding me? He said, we just saw the guy 2 months ago.
Well, Tony, I hate to send you those text messages, but I know you like to know.
Yeah, and Bundy, for those that got an opportunity to meet King Kong Bundy, y'all met a wonderful individual. He was a real sweetheart. I can't think of anybody that could say anything wrong about him. I mean, he never hurt nobody, never did nothing bad. He was a shrewd businessman.
Yes.
And a lot of people would complain about he had a certain price that he would work for, and he would not relinquish from that. You know, he wanted a certain amount of money. A lot of promoters didn't like that, but hey, everybody got their price, you know, or what they feel they are worth. He felt he was worth a certain amount of money, and a lot of promoters didn't like that. But as far as among the wrestlers, I don't know any wrestler could say anything bad about King Kong Bundy.
Like I said, he was one of my favorites when I first started watching WWF back in 1986. He was a great heel.
Been in the business.
Him with Bobby Heenan and John Studd, I thought was a great trio altogether back then.
Yeah.
And like I said, just a few years later, when I'm in my early high school years, to have Tony Rumble bring him in.
Yeah.
And here I am sitting from a guy that I had his action figure when I was a kid, and I watched him at the Boston Garden in person. And here I am talking to him.
And how did he treat you?
very good. You know, he had kind of a sarcastic sense of humor, but
Yeah,
you know.
he's from Jersey.
Yeah, yeah.
I know Jersey. You know, they're a little bit different down in Jersey.
He had several cats that needed to be adopted. I don't know if you heard about that. I believe he had 10 cats.
Oh, you like cats?
He was a big cat guy, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the cats were left kind of homeless after he passed. So
that must have broke his heart.
They did not. Well, I don't think he knew he was dead.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when he got ill. I bet he worried a lot his last few days here about what was going to happen to his animal. Because most animal lovers that I know, they very sentimental about their animals. You know.
Do you have any pets, Tony?
No, I bought my wife some animals, and when they died, it just rips her apart.
What kind of an animal? A
Oh,
dog?
first I started off having parakeets, and then they died, so she didn't want no more birds. And I bought a fish, they died, she didn't want no more fish. And then we got a puppy, and he got hit by a car, she didn't want no more
geez,
dogs.
Tony.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
luck do you have with these pets?
Yeah, well, she don't realize their life expectancy is not, you know, like a human.
Yeah.
Just like if you got a child, if you're lucky, you know, today you could lose a child 6 years after give birth to it with these knuckleheads running around killing everything. But normally, you know, you're gonna have that child for as long as you exist.
Yeah.
But then when you have a dog, you know, after about 10 years, you're really
sad.
attached
It's
after 10
sad.
years. So if he makes it to 15 years, if you can have a dog for 15 years.
Oh, I would have
you
loved
get
for
good.
my dogs to have made it to 15.
In 15 years, I mean,
That
you
would have
know,
been great.
so you're lucky if you get 10 years out of an
Yeah.
animal. And then a smaller animal, the less time you have with them. And you become so attached to them.
So the Atlas dog ran into the street?
Yeah. We only had it for about a week.
Oh, jeez. Well, at least you didn't become too attached,
We
I
did.
guess.
I mean, for about a week, the people had some puppies, and the guy gave my wife a puppy. She had a little puppy.
It was a free puppy.
Yeah, it was a free puppy. It didn't cost us nothing. And we were going to say, well, we got to go get him his shots and all this and that stuff. We're trying to find out what all we need to do with the. We were going to take him to the vet, and then she set him down one day and to open up the door and
He ran. Oh,
Took
that's
off.
sad. That's sad.
took off. Got out in the street, got hit, and the car didn't kill him. Just ran over his back leg. He crawled.
Oh, he
over it.
couldn't walk. Oh,
Yeah, so we, you know.
it was for the best.
Yeah,
It was for
It
the
was
best.
sad watching him drag his stuff around the house, always in
Oh, you
pain.
kept him for a little while after
Yeah, well,
that.
he was pulling himself, like, you know, with the front paw, dragging the back paw. He was always in pain. And we took him to the vet, and the vet said it was best to, you know.
Put him down.
Yeah.
Well, any memories about King Kong Bundy? You guys were part of that wild boom era in WWF. He returned, I think, in late '84, and
Yeah.
you were there for
Well, there
almost
was
2
one
years after
story.
that.
I
What
don't
have we
know
got?
if he would appreciate me telling it, but
He's not going to be offended
we
now.
was in Madison Square Garden. You probably seen the match on YouTube or something. And Vince wanted me to go 5 minutes and lose. So I'm wrestling. Bundy said, hey, we'll take it home. I said, no, not yet. 10 minutes went by. Bundy go, are we going home yet? I said, no, not yet. We went 20 minutes.
You went 20 minutes with Bundy? Was he blown up at that point?
No, oh no.
Really?
No. Vince was mad like you would not believe. So you know we always at the end of the match we go shake hands with the other guy. So I was going in the room to shake hands with Bundy, thank for the match. And I hear Bundy say, I don't know what Vince said to him, but I hear Bundy say, he said, I'm a worker, not a fighter. He said, if Tony don't want to go home, he said, if Tony don't want to go home, I'm not going to fight with him out there. He said, I'm not here to fight with Tony Atlas. He said, I'm here to make my money and do my job. He said, but I wanted only 5 minutes of that match. Because in the garden, if you go after a certain...
The curfew, right. I forgot about the curfew. Yeah.
I went over the curfew.
Well,
I did a lot of bad stuff.
you did.
I'm not bragging about it 'cause it hurt me in the long run. You know, I wish I had did things a whole
You're just sharing
lot.
your
I
experiences.
wish I laid down for him in 4.5 minutes, save Vince the 30 suckers. Hey,
Yeah.
Vince, I got you 30 suckers out of that, you know. But at that time, all I was thinking about, I ain't letting nobody beat me in 5 minutes.
You were worried about your credibility. All right, Tony. Any final thoughts about King Kong Bundy? Did you ever travel with the man up in Maine for your shows?
Yep. I know that well, not only is him and a lot of guys his side, they used to have trouble sleeping. They would Bundy be sleeping, and he just stopped breathing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Scared the hell out of you. Then he started back. You know, they all had, and you got to get used to the cold weather because they hot all the time.
Yes.
So when you ride with him, it could be 20 degrees outside.
And he wants
let
the window
that
down.
There, and the air conditioner on, and you like.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Boston Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, Saturday, May the 2nd, 1987. In the opening contest, Nick Kiniski beat Frenchie Martin. Demolition with the win over the Islanders. Iron Mike Sharp defeated C.V. Affey. In the main event, WWF World Champion Hulk Hogan retained the title over King Harley Race. After the match, Race attacked and bloodied Hogan, building to a Texas death match between the two in June. Sika victorious over Duke of Dorchester Pete Doherty. Brutus the Barber Beefcake beat Johnny V, replacing Adrian Adonis. Ken Patera with Jake Roberts, who he replaced, with the win over the Honky Tonk Man. And WWF Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation, retained over the British Bulldogs. If you were in Boston live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.